All right. So we just finished the match. Good little match. Couple of people to reflect on that did well. Toro being one of them. Max Hall was probably my man of the match, and yeah, there's a few things to discuss. Not the result we wanted, obviously. We'll get a few things ready to go. Just got home, so I've got to make sure I got everything up and running. So we'll get the AFL's stuff up and running, and we'll get the fan cam link out there. So give me 1 second, everybody, and we'll get that running for you. But otherwise, pretty happy with the results in a lot of regards. Could have been a lot worse. Could have been better though. So it was an awesome exit from Max Hall tonight. There's a few players that I want to go over that I thought did quite well. A couple that I might want to discuss that could have done a little bit better, but all in all, pretty happy. Quickly run through this. I'll share screen now, and we will also chuck this on in the background too. It's a little bit bland back there, so let's add to stage. Well, okay, that went wrong. That was meant to be a background. Apologies. So we've got the stats here. We did win the overall disposals, kicks and marks. Inside 50s were again not the story we wanted. Efficiency really came up at the end for the Dockers, and ours stayed around that sort of 55 or so mark for majority of the match, even got into the 60s for a little bit there. Disposal efficiency, we actually ended up higher. Good to see. Free kicks, less said about them, the better. Stoppages was very interesting. They came back in the end for clearances, and we didn't quite get the results we wanted from hit-outs, but that's not a major surprise against both Darcy and Luke Jackson. So, yeah, Wood was in everything as well. He played a great match. I'm going to get the link up in chat, so feel free to come and join and say hello if you'd like. And yeah, we're just going to keep going through it. There's that in the YouTube comment section, so go click on it, come say hello if you'd like. Otherwise, we'll quickly finish off some of these stats. Possession-wise was pretty good. We won everything. Turnovers, not really what we wanted. Part of the story of why we didn't win. Another major part was marks inside 50. Interesting little note that possession overall for for Freo came down in that last quarter, and that's essentially because they were moving the ball much quicker. Now, these numbers are still not what we want to see, but, I mean, we've got a lot of really young players and then a few older players as well. So, I mean, that's to be somewhat expected with those kind of efforts. Otherwise, tackles, not bad. Tackles inside 50, not bad. 1% is pretty good. We've been on top of those sort of things recently, which is what you want to see. Look, reasonable match. We'll start getting our advanced stats pretty soon. Let's just check if we've got any yet. Maybe we have. All right, let's have a quick look, see here. So where are we? This is the opposite one to what I usually use. Alex Toru with 14 spoils. An amazing result there. All right, so we have got Heath in the chat here. We'll bring Heath in to say hello. Feel free to come and join as well as Heath. When you give, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear and you're ready to go, mate? Yep, easy, perfect. All right, I'll add you to stage now, and we'll have a quick little chat before coming back to this. I'll also remove that from stage. All right, cool. Heath, mate, how you doing?
It was so annoying. I wanted to punch something that was sweaty. Out of that game. Ugh.
Yeah, mate. I don't know if you saw the video me and Jake did the watch along, but I was losing my mind at points there.
Was the live stream between you and Jake I've ever seen. Those umpires, can they? I swear they've got two rules for us and for Fremantle. I swear to God.
honest to God, man, like there was some things there that just made me lose my head. And like, to be honest, right, the reason I'm not too upset is because like it didn't come down to just one goal in the end. They really did sort of beat us in that last quarter, but God damn, he could the less said about the umpires, the better in some regards. But mate, wasn't a bad performance. Obviously, we've had better. But who do you think did well? Who were your kind of men of the match?
Yeah, I thought I'll give it to Alex Taru with his 14 disposals. He was everywhere. He looked at home in his second game for us. So, yeah, I thought he did well. There's just something about him. He just is in everything, flies for everything, punches for everything. He's just someone that is just balls to the wall and just absolutely just has a bit of swagger about him.
Yeah, definitely. There's a few flights there where I didn't want to say it, but he looked a little bit like Rui, like just a little bit of just flying at things that you just don't expect them to get to in the first place. And it's like, oh, not only did they get to it, but if they really wanted, I don't think Toru needed to spoil as much as he did tonight. I think he could have clunked a few extra ones. And mate, he looks like a good one. He looks like a future. We got somebody here, a hobbit in the chat, talking about why Jack Carroll's not a good player. Mate, he got 5 minutes. He didn't touch the ball. If you're judging it on that, you probably should go watch the rest of the match. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that could have gone better. Obviously, Butler missing those 2 drops, running into goal. Yes, there was a bit of pressure, but that was very frustrating for me. There's a bunch of them where they didn't quite work out. So I don't think Frees were the worst. I don't think we did terribly with holding off for Jack either in what we had on option there. I think Butler came very close to proving me wrong. So hopefully he does that in another week. But otherwise, mate, I think there's a lot of good players. Max Hall was, I said it multiple times, he stood out for me. Toru was probably the next major standout from the youngsters. Windy seems to be finally finding his feet properly. And likewise, when we've got Jack McRae actually doing his kind of reasonable works in the centre, we find a lot more. I also noticed that, geez, Garcia, six centre clearances. It's just nuts. That's nuts level stuff. 4 additional from stoppage, but geez, he looked amazing at points. We've got another one here from Nick Buttigieg. We do need to sign Naz. He's a bloke that could win premierships, and we could build around him for the next 10 years. Would love to see Bergman in our colours as well. I think we do need a little bit more from the midfield, and I know he's been asking for it. What are your thoughts on that, mate? Would you be wanting to see more people enter our midfield, and do you think Bergman could be one of them?
Yeah, I reckon we should go after Bergman. He's that player that we absolutely need, and he can, like the guy said, can thrive off off what we're doing, and he would just fit in and play a role and just be an X factor to the team, which we don't have at the moment. We do, but then we don't. Like Bergman adds depth to our midfield and just a bit of class around the ball as well.
Yeah, 100%, mate. We could always use a little bit more there. Just want to give a massive thank you to Anthony from Pies Footy. Cheeky little fiver there. Hopefully that tides me over when I go and get some drinks in a couple of minutes. But no, thank you very much. That's the first donor we've got on the live. So thank you to that. And we'll see if we might get one more one day. We'll never know. But back to this match, I think as a general, it's hard to be upset with a lot of what we saw. I mean, for 3 or so quarters there, yeah, there's moments we could have done better, but we created so many more opportunities than I've seen us in weeks past. So pretty happy with what we saw. Oh, mate, you're too kind. I'm going to give another thank you to Anthony. He's a big fan. Well, big he's been around forever. We've been chatting since I started, and if you are a Pies fan somehow in here, go give him some love. He's a good man. But yeah, it's been a tough one to review so far. I don't know how to feel about it yet. I'm definitely annoyed we lost some chances we could have taken, but I just haven't seen us build that many opportunities in a while. So yeah, you're gonna have. I feel like I've got to take the good and the bad with this one. I don't think there's much else I can do. What are your thoughts, mate? Is this one that just is it going to frustrate you for the rest of the week, or do you think you'll find some solace in our performance?
It usually does. I always get frustrated when St Kilda lose. They determine my mood for the week. If we win, I'm happy. If we lose, I'm annoyed. But I don't know. We were good, but we could have won that game had we take our chances early. And I would have won the game if we'd taken our chances properly. But the umpires didn't help out, so I'm blaming the umpires because that was dreadful.
Yeah, look, I mean the umps weren't great. There's been previous weeks where I've sat there watching us just being like, screw it, I'm making a whole video about why the umps suck ass. Like, we're not even reviewing St Kilda this week. We're reviewing umpires. Haven't gone down that path. Probably not worth it. But yeah, they were very frustrating, mate. I think there was a lot of times where they got given some pretty soft stuff. There was a couple of times where we got given some soft stuff as well. So, I mean, it's one of those ones, when it goes your way, you take it. But when it doesn't, it's annoying. But, yeah, I think that's a little bit of just football, mate. Not a ton we can do about that one, unfortunately. But, yeah, we've got to have a little look at the little stats here. So I'm going to get this back up on screen. And just quickly go over a couple of things. I've got the link back in chat. If we do have anybody else jumping in, feel free. And then we'll get this back up. So let's see. Is that going to work better?
Is that there?
Let's try that. All right, cool. So Tara's 14 spoils is just a really good job. Defensive half pressure acts. Looks, Jordan Clark killed us tonight, and that's one of the ones that I'm going to have a little watch back to see what we did on that regard. Geez, we needed to stop him, and we just didn't. Naz with the 10 rebound 50s was very impressive. I think he ended up with the most meters gained. He did. And then shots at goal, we ended up with the most to Mason Wood, who I'm not sure if he even scored in the end. I'm going to have to double check that one. No, he definitely scored, didn't he? I can't remember. Did Mason Wood score or not? He got 2 behind. Yeah, okay, a little bit frustrating. I don't know. I feel like there's so many moments where we could have just gone ahead, gotten that extra goal, that sort of thing, and it just didn't happen. It's a hard one. Like, part of me is very frustrated, but part of me is impressed with what they were able to achieve. So, it'll be it's a bit frustrating that this is finished at 8:00 on a Sunday, because I would definitely like a bit more time to review this. That is for sure. But overall, I can't be too upset with what I've seen. Overall, not too bad. I don't know, mate. What's before we kind of move on and start moving to other things, do you have any sort of final major thoughts that you wanted to get across?
Still think losing to Collingwood was worse than losing to Fremantle. Because one, I don't like Collingwood, and two, they're just more annoying than Fremantle, but I've never been to Perth, so I don't know what their fan base is like. So, yeah.
I'm probably the opposite way around. Never been a huge Fremantle fan, and that's just, they stole Ross from us back in the day, essentially. But it's also that Collingwood seems very close to the top end of the table this year. I mean, they're at the very top right now. They're looking like they'll be there towards the end of the year too. So, you know, if it weren't for the last few goals against the Pies in that sort of last 5 or so minutes, would have been a fairly similar sort of loss on either end. So for me, I probably am a bit more pissed off with the Fremantle loss. I think we made a lot of opportunities. That last quarter just slipped out of our hands. As much as I hate Cornsey in a lot of regards, I think Kane was fairly right in that we did have that one just bottled in some regards. But as others have mentioned, we're a young side, at least we were today, with our average age being in the 23s. And that will happen. Younger sides don't have the legs. We've kept a lot of our senior, most experienced guys as well. So we've got that vacuum in the middle where it's, under 28 to sort of 24 and below, where we've got a few missing in that realm. So yeah, I think that sort of last quarter, the ability to run out games it's harder when you've made the selections that we have. So yeah, I think I'm a little bit more frustrated with Freo. Would have liked to at least win one though. That would have been nice. Wilson was a bit sloppy. I noticed that throughout the match. He just didn't quite have the composure that he had the week prior, and it felt a little bit similar to before he was dropped. What's your thoughts, Heath? Do you think he played well?
Wilson, bits and pieces. He was really much of a mixed bag. He did some good things, then he did some bad things. He was a mixed bag for me. He wasn't bad, wasn't good. He was in the middle.
Yeah, that's probably a fair assessment. I think in some regards I might be a little bit harsh there, but no, I do agree. Wilson had moments that he'd probably want back, and yeah, probably the team would like him to have another crack at those sort of moments as well, because we were very close, and I think that's one of the things to mainly take away from this match. It's not the result we wanted. There's a lot of things that didn't go the way we want, but there's a lot of things that were a lot closer to what we want. And I think it's a question of, are we going to keep playing for the right now, or where, with round 16, we know we're not winning a premiership this year. So are we going to back that up with seniors forever? Probably not. It's time to develop. And we saw a good result out of the kids. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, so, I'd rather play the kids and play. I'd rather play the kids and have a crack every game. We're not. I know we're not playing for anything, but I'd rather just play the kids, have a crack every week. I don't care if we win or lose. Just see the effort through the remainder of the year and see what we can get out of the youngsters and what we can look forward to in the future.
Bang on. And what, game 2, right? We saw Toru with 14 spoils. That in a couple of years could be 10 plus intercept marks, and we're running it back the other way. It's not just a 50-50 throw in or something along those lines, right? So there are a lot of signs that are great. Garcia with the 6 centre clearances, 10 clearances total. There's a lot of signs. There's signs of good things, but yeah, it comes down to what we were saying earlier in the year. Let's just play it out. Let the kids get as much experience as possible. And, hopefully we see good things. Tonight we came pretty close. It's not always going to be the case, as we saw tonight. So not a bad result. I think I'm gonna reflect on this not too harshly, but I gotta watch back things. So we'll see. There might be a few things that make me pull my hair out. But yeah, that's just life. What are your plans for the rest of your evening, Heath? Have you got much on?
Not much. Probably just resting. Want some therapy. Want to watch that replay, but should just watch it to see how many times we didn't take our opportunities, and just watch how do we blow that opportunity to shut up Fremantle. And I thought Henry was good too.
Yeah, actually, Henry wasn't one that I mentioned. I thought Henry was really good. He had one of those games. In fact, I'm going to pull up his stats really quickly. Base level, I think he's got 15-ish disposals from memory, maybe less. 12 goals with 1. I mean, this is what I was saying to Jake pretty early, right? I didn't think that he was going to do much more than that. But if we have a half forward flank that's consistently nearly 15 disposals and a goal, I think he had like 4 score involvements from memory. I'd have to pull it up, but yeah, I think if you're getting that out of him, you're getting what you need. It's kind of a minimum threshold, sure, but it's meeting the minimum threshold. And then you look at somebody like Max Heath, who had 21 disposals, 10 score involvements, that sort of thing. And you're like, okay, well, that's what we'd love both our half forwards to be doing. But as long as we've at least got one kind of getting off the leash, likewise with the forward pockets, likewise with the talls, we should be a lot closer to where we want to be. So, yeah, I think Max Hall and Heath provided a reasonable partnership tonight. I'd like to see a little bit more from not Heath, you're Heath, I'm not talking about. Max Hall and Liam Henry provided a reasonable partnership, but not quite the result we wanted, obviously. Oh man, when Liam Henry shushed him, I was like, oh, it's on. Like we've got a little bit of spirit to us, and it brought the spirit out of them. God damn. Suddenly Freo were on again. But it was a good.
I was going to say, one, we would have done the shush a lot sooner.
Yeah, I feel like if you got 2 or 3, that's when you can really put the shush on them, especially in that sort of last sort of 5-10 minutes if you're up. But yeah, probably a little bit early for the shush, tiny bit. Maybe that's more of an ice in your veins kind of celebration more than a shush. So that's my thoughts at least. But yeah, round 16. Oh, sorry, we got another comment. I'll bring it up. Round 16 last year, we lost to Port by 2 points. 7 different players in the team from 12 months ago. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's a pretty good changeover. I think Port were on the up last year. I think they finished top 4-ish. We see where they're at now. I think we got the job done on them earlier in the year. I think we come pretty close to doing it again, despite them finding a bit more form now. Yeah, I mean, look, we're a little bit stagnant, but we will be on the up sooner than later with those sort of changes that we are making. We've also got a comment here from Glenn. Poor kicking in front of goal cost us. Should have been a few goals up. Great game from Marshall, Garcia, Hall as well. Yeah, completely agree. Pretty much the story, right? Like if they got those few goals early, got out, we might have held the sort of lead a bit longer. Likewise, it's happened a few times now where we've lost the contested marks. We've lost the marks inside 50 specifically. And that kind of generally tells the story of our results. So did get beaten in a way that we kind of thought might happen. They had a lot of tools out there. The goal was definitely to stop their marking ability as much as possible. But that's almost not even the point for me. It comes down to what we were doing, which, yeah, there was some poor goal shots early, but Garcia was amazing. Marshall looked good. Steele looked good in the third, and Hall looked good for the vast majority of the match. So definitely agree with a lot of that. What's your thoughts on Steele today, Heath?
Steele, oh Jesus, he's been frustrating. Like our captain, he took a while to get into the game. I don't know if he was lacking a bit of confidence or if Fremantle were paying attention to him. I really don't know, but it's something about Jack Steele that's like he's frustrating to watch, but he takes a while to get into it. He's a player that tests your patience a lot of the time.
I don't think a lot of players test our patience at points, but I mean that's just being a footy fan. Yeah, I think you're right. Like Steele was a bit slow to get into it. I thought in that third he did a few things quite well. Started to get the ball out of contest and wasn't super effective with it, but was getting it done, which is what we were doing for the majority of the match, which was good to see, and seeing, Garcia, Steele, and McRae to an extent as well, being able to get it out of that centre, which, night and day to what we've experienced majority of the year. So positives, and you're right, a bit of biting your teeth there, and kind of hoping you get it done a bit quicker. Got another one from Nick. Most frustrating player in the team is Owens. There's a bit I can say about Owens. Handball to a player who, a tightly manned, runs through his own teammates. Worst kick in the AFL. There is definitely something about him in terms of good and bad. Owens frustrates me as well, and I'll put it out there. I think he could be an amazing player, but he looks like a giraffe. Like, he looks like a baby deer. Like, he looks like he's way taller than he is, and like it's like lankiness. It's like uncoordination in a way. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I love Owens because some of the things he does, like, other people in our team just can't do it. But there's other times where you're right, he is one of the most frustrating players in our team. He isn't particularly great as a field kick. He is not particularly great as a kick on goal. His marking is, I'm going to be honest, pretty bad. Like, in a contest one-on-one, yeah, not terrible. But that happens so infrequently with our forward line that, I don't know if getting the 2 marks out of the 2 offensive 1v1s that are going to happen in a match is really worth it when you're going to miss the shots. So, yeah, couldn't agree more. Owens is one of the ones that does my head in to no end. I've said it for years now. I don't think he can be a forward. I think he can be a midfielder, and a pretty reasonable one at that. But, like, midfield, half forward, like what we'd love to see out of Steele. Like, Steele took a couple of strong marks. We'd love to see that forward of the ball more. And yeah, Owens can do it occasionally, but I don't love that he's getting mad consistently as a forward. I'd much rather him be in the midfield, do a swap midway through. Suddenly the opposition's defense is trying to scramble because Owens is all right above his head. Not the best, but all right. Better than somebody that's, just average. So yeah, I think there needs to be more movement with him. I don't think he can be a resting third tall forward or the tallest half forward flank in the AFL or something like that. But like he just, I don't think he can play that role. I think he needs to be a hybrid and majoritively in the midfield if he's going to succeed, because there are too many moments where he isn't getting what I'd like to get done. Heath, am I being too harsh in that regard?
That brings me to my next question. Do you think we should drop Owens for next week, or who actually do we drop next week? And do you reckon Owens would be one of the culprits that we should drop, like, considering what you're saying and everything, just to get his confidence back up or something? Like,
honestly, I wouldn't drop Owens if we're not going to play him in a midfield, because I don't see the point in dropping him to the seconds to play as a forward. It's just, look, you may as well be playing AFL at the top level, right? Like, we don't have a ton of amazing half forward flanks that can take a mark. It's probably him and Wood. But yeah, if we wanted to get him in the midfield and we don't think we have the space at AFL level, then 100% I'd drop him. Like, I'd be like, right, we're going to give you a couple matches as a midfielder at the AFL level. We want you to come back before the end of the season and show us what you can do at AFL level. Like, if it's just the ability to give him CBAs, then yes, I would drop him down to the seconds. But if we're not going to give him CBAs in the seconds, I can't see the point. In terms of dropping like actual players, probably need a little bit of time to think over that. Butler's got to be close. He did. There's a few moments where he really should have just put a little bit of body on, taken the chest mark, even just put his arms up taken the mark. Like, it's just, they're things that AFL footballers shouldn't do. Now, Heath, I might have to let you, we have got somebody here in Brett, but it's very dark there, Brett. I can't see you, mate. So I'll keep an eye out. Once I can see you, I'll get a thumbs up from you, and we'll get you to come say hello. But yeah, I think, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on Owens, but I come to the idea that it's because I think he can do so much more, which is why I get frustrated when he doesn't achieve what I've come to at least expect of him. Yeah, in terms of the side, we'll leave the droppings for a little bit. Early call would probably be Butler, but we'll see. Now, Heath, it does look like we've got Brett here. Brett, can I get a thumbs up from you, mate, to make sure you're ready to go? Looks like I've got a thumbs up. It's still a bit dark. But, Heath, look, I'm going to say goodbye to you, mate, and get Brett in and see his thoughts.
Yeah, rightio.
Easy, mate. Thank you for coming past. And, yeah, we'll be back again next week, so come say hello.
All right, go Saints.
Cheers, mate. Go Saints. All right, Brett, let's get you up on here, mate.
Hey,
Brett,
Woody, how you
going?
going?
Yeah, very good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Just at work at the moment, so apologies for the poor lighting. I thought I'd just jump on for a quick 10 minutes or so. Discuss the game.
Good on you. What was your major thoughts, on the overall?
Honestly, I'm happy with that. Bleeding the kids, obviously, as long as we're competitive. And we need that top pick, don't we? Like, we need that really good midfielder. I don't know if you're following the draft much, but I think his name's Ollie Greaves.
Yep.
He's a big bull, just what we need, like 190 centimetres or something. Just a powerful midfielder. That's what we're chasing, I think. Yeah,
there's Greaves, there's Grilsh as well. There's a couple of midfielders we've got our eye on. I'm not obviously attached to the club in any way, but I do know that they've been pretty keen on getting the proper mid in. Obviously, a little bit of a worry, right? Because great result in terms of what we want. We want that effort. We also probably don't need the 4 points right now, to be honest. And then the only real issue comes down to the compromised aspects of the draft, and I'm sure you have a little bit of understanding here. We kind of need to be in that sort of bottom few, unless our first pick is going to, potentially bottom one would be maybe even 10th, 11th, because there's going to be about 5 or so players that go in that top 10. Which is
an absolute joke, isn't it?
Oh, mate, yeah, it does my head.
Gold Coast, they just keep getting fed these gun players. Like,
honestly,
what about us?
There was a really good chat with I don't want to say the wrong one. Saints Nation, I believe it was. They did a chat with Card our CEO, and it was really good. If you get a moment, definitely go watch it. All I'd say though is, yeah, he gets into that a fair bit, and basically goes over the same things that I've said for ages, which is, father son's a little bit annoying, but it's just luck of the draw. There's no real way to sway that. Whereas when you're looking at academies, there's a lot of issues there. I mean, if Brisbane had the academy going back in the early 2000s, we wouldn't have gotten Cozzy, we wouldn't have gotten Rewalt, we wouldn't have gotten Sam Gilbert, we wouldn't have gotten a ton of different players that were in our premiership tilt. So I think it is, despite some people saying, it's 28% of the draft pool is locked away between 4 teams that equate to about 22% of teams. They essentially get the ability to pick 128% of people as compared to 100%. Right, so that's the difference that we've been calling out, and it is frustrating to see Gold Coast get those sort of 5 first picks. But I think probably.
Well, at least they're actually. At least they're actually calling it out now, not just sweeping it under the rug. We're trying to sort this thing out.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's been a few people that are a little bit frustrated at us doing that, but I mean, we want a fair competition, man. And I mean, even if I was at the top, I'd look at it and go, ooh, I understand they're benefiting from this, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But there's not. I don't think there's much to defend it, to be honest. You look at Mac Andrew, right? Who was picked. He could have gone to Melbourne.
Melbourne Academy,
yeah, but it was picked up by the Suns and due to their academy. And he said he was always playing AFL. So I think, or at least he was always going to try to play AFL, whether he got into the Gold Coast Academy or not. So for me, it kind of comes down to the situation that I think they're rorting the draft. And I think this is the last year it happens. Whether they end up making the changes that have been discussed, requiring a first round pick to get a first round pick, that sort of thing is up for debate. But this will be the last year that something like that can happen.
Surely they've been in the competition how long now? 15 years or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting close to. It'd be close to. They still haven't made the final, so I understand the need for them to get a little bit of help, but I actually prefer priority picks. I think back in the day, once you'd been in the bottom, I think it was bottom 4 for like 3 years in a row, you could apply for a priority pick. I don't think there was much wrong with that. I think maybe you could expand that out for 4 years, and at the 3rd year, maybe they get a second draft pick instead of a top one, right? But I don't think that there was too much wrong with that, and I think we should be going back to that as much as possible. In terms of this match, though, because we have gone a little bit sideways.
Sorry, got a bit sidetracked there.
That's all right, that's fine. I wanted to bring up 2 players that I thought, well, I've brought it up already. So let's ask you, what sort of players have stood out to you in tonight's match?
Jack Higgins.
Ooh.
The last month, not that he's been playing good, but I find him and Butler don't work well together. They get in each other's ways. Like ever since Butler's come back into the team, Higgins has really dropped off. I found when he played with Collard, they just gelled together a lot better. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't hate it. I don't think Butler's. I was very, very surprised when Butler made our leadership team.
I don't get that at all. He's given away 50-metre penalties.
Mate, he's edge of selection, like literal edge of selection. And I don't think leadership can just be old and play games. Like I think you have to be leading on the field. And I don't think Butler's one of those people. As much as he's, seems to be a great person off the field, all that sort of jazz, I think leaders need to lead on the field. And that's where I'd probably drop him for Collard. You're right. I think Collard played quite well in the seconds. He's been playing a little bit further up the ground, closer to Max Hall's sort of role.
Yeah, his last couple of weeks, he's been getting in the teens, like Pods. He's not kicking goals, but he's getting a lot more of the footy, which is good signs.
Exactly. And I'm happy with that. Like as much as I'd love for Collard to be kicking 3-4 every match in the twos and really pushing his selection in that regard, I also don't think Butler does a ton of that either. So for me, it's kind of a situation that we'd had this discussion a bit, as all St Kilda fans. It's time to play the kids. If there isn't a giant gap between the form of a 19-year-old and a 29-year-old, play the 19-year-old.
For sure.
That's kind of where we're at, unfortunately, as a side. I'd love to be top 2 or 3 and saying, do not play that 19-year-old. I don't care if it's a minuscule gap. Do not take that gap. But we're not in that stage, so it's tough.
Well, this might be controversial. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go on.
But I would have much preferred Boxshaw in the team over our captain. I know he got 20-odd disposals, but he's just not giving us a lot.
I understand why you say that. I just don't think Boxshaw can do it yet. In another year or so, I'd probably agree with you. The only reason I say that is because Boxshaw just doesn't seem like he's got the tank to sit in the midfield for long enough. And
I haven't watched any of the VFL, but his numbers are crazy good.
They are, and that's where his opposition there really isn't putting up enough challenge for him. Like he is better than majority of our midfield in all of our midfield. And he should be getting game time, but right now we don't have a second position for him.
No, that's fair,
and he can't really rest anywhere but on the bench. So once he gets that second position, gets a little bit more ability to stay on ground longer, yeah, I'd probably agree with you. But for now, as much as I think Steely hasn't been putting in the performances we've come to expect over years past, and that, you know, the game might even be passing it.
He just looks off the pace, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I think Steely's amazing in a lot of regards, but he hasn't had the like, I think back to when we asked Steele to drop weight, right, and get back down to a level. The whole reason we asked him to do that was because his form dipped, and we needed outside run back in those days. And we now have a lot more outside run. Yes, it's hit and miss. Some of them are quite young. Bradley Hill didn't play tonight, but he's been hit and miss. Wood has been clunking them at times, and they're not at others. So it's not, you know, just one player. But I mean, we're now at the point now where we've got at least some level of outside run that at least matches Jack's work there.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's got enough strength at the moment to push aside people for a whole match. There was moments where he did quite well at lining up on Jackson, which is, you know, surprised they're playing him as a midfielder, but he lined up on Jackson, got a few good tackles there. But that being said, yeah, I mean, you can't expect him to do that for very long. And I think he's probably at that stage of, if we are going to keep him, and you know, these rumours of other teams wanting him, you know, just don't eventuate, aren't true, whatever it is, he has to be tried as that sort of forward that Owens is currently.
Sure.
I think he's got
a decent set shot on him.
He's got a decent set shot on him. He doesn't need to run anywhere near as much. And to be honest, he doesn't look like he can run anywhere near as much as he used to.
No.
I'd be straight swapping Owens and Steele. Like, Steele is a half-forward flank, trying to take as many contested marks as possible.
Yeah.
And then Owens further up the ground, because we need that link contested mark out of defence anyway. Owens is too far away to get there. So,
and he needs to sort out that bloody set shot of his.
Honestly, that's just what I just want him away from the goals. Just get him away from the goals.
Yeah, tuck him in the guts. Let him throw his weight around.
Like,
he knows how to extract the ball.
Yeah, exactly. People get upset with his set shot, and even his field isn't great. But I would much prefer him being the same basic thing as what Jack McRae does. Because to be real, Jack McRae is not a great kick, but he gets a lot of it out of centre and gets meters. So, and if he's not getting meters himself, he's hand passing it to somebody that can. So,
for sure,
I think it'd be great to see Owens and Steely swap, and I understand why you might have wanted to see Boxall ahead of Steely tonight.
Yeah,
but I think that's
him being a Perth boy as well.
Are you out in Perth?
Yeah, I'm a Perth boy. I would have liked to have seen Boxall out. So
yeah, fair. Did you get to the match?
No, I'm at work at the moment.
Oh, you mentioned, of course, you mentioned.
I unfortunately went to the Eagles game, and that was no fun. First game I'd seen in, I don't know, 10 plus years.
Yeah, that's rough.
Oh boy,
that's rough, bro.
But we'll move past that.
Yeah, you got to get over here and watch us when we verse Richmond next year, man. That'll be the one.
Sure.
But no, I think lots of positives, a lot of negatives in some regards too. I mean, a couple of years ago, Roma probably could have taken on Darcy and Jackson by himself. I don't think he really did it tonight. I mean, it was good
goal of the year,
effort.
surely.
Good effort. I said at the time, it reminds me of Daniel Wells back in the day, grabbing it out of the ruck. Yeah. And it's just like a ruckman's version. He doesn't have the leap. He's not going to grab it.
Take flight, but
yeah, exactly. But no, it was a great goal.
Talking about taking flight, the Viking. Wow.
Oh man,
he's something, huh?
So good. He's going to be so good. I bumped into his family going to a match one time. They're lovely people. His mum's a lovely person. And yeah, they were talking about how they'd seen us on SaintsTV, big fans, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, what do you think of my son? And it's like, well, we haven't seen him yet, but we love him. So, I mean, he's a great player. He's looking amazing. I didn't think a sort of second, third tall defensive type would come in and be able to put on the sort of display he did in his first or second match. So, yeah, amazing, mate. Amazing.
He just oozes confidence, doesn't he? He reminds me of Filippo. Just backs themselves in. Just even though they're kids, they know they're good.
I said it a little bit ago, but he's got a. It's probably just the hair and the fact he flies for it, but he reminds me a little bit of Rui.
Rui for sure.
Yeah, just putting his body in places it shouldn't be, but it's just what he does. That's how he plays.
Yeah.
Love it, mate. And honestly, Jake's mentioned it a couple of times. You know, we do have that need for a forward, particularly ending out the year. There might be a few matches where we don't need 3 tall defenders, so we'd love to see him chucked up there. We'd love to see what he can do.
For sure. Him and King would be dangerous.
We
can get him on the park.
Oh, it'd be lovely. Imagine, I shouldn't say this, but imagine Tyree flying for a screamer over King. He'd have to be one of the few people that could get a screamer.
Can only imagine at this stage.
Probably give it a little bit. I'm not sure King's knees can handle that, but no, it's
good to see Henry come back.
Yes.
Did some nice things.
Henry
didn't really rate the shush. I get it. The crowd were giving him a lot of stick, but save it when we won the game or the game twice. Like
if that's that last,
just a bad omen for me.
To put you 4 goals up with a couple minutes left, sure, I'll go that shush. But I think it was a bit early. No, Henry looked all right. He pretty much did what I thought he would, in the sense that he's probably only going to get about 15 or so disposals most matches, maybe kick a goal too. But as long as he does that,
keep him in the team now. Don't take him out. Just leave him in the team.
Yeah, bang on. Couldn't agree more. And look, it's putting a little bit of pressure because, to be honest, I like what I saw tonight. We dropped to senior statesmen in Webster and Hill, and there's going to be pressure for them to get back in the side. I think O'Connell is definitely going to be fighting it out with Webster if somebody's going to come back in that back pocket role. Likewise, when we've got runners, I think there's a fair chance that we see, Box will come in if anybody's going to come in, because maybe we need that a little bit more from the guts. We can easily put, Hugo a little bit further out. We can definitely take Max away from some of the contests that he was in. So I think there's a reasonable chance that Hill and Webster are going to struggle to get back into the side for the rest of the year. They're going to at least need to show why they're senior and why they're leadership.
I really like Hasty.
Yes,
I reckon he's got a lot of potential and just needs to put on some size. He's quite thin at the moment, but once he puts some size on, he's a beautiful mover, silky, knows how to kick the footy.
Definitely.
Good height as well.
The one knock on
I think he's
Hasty,
191 centimetres.
I thought he was a bit smaller than that, but maybe. But yeah, he's the one knock on Hasty that I've heard is that he's not as, he hasn't quite gotten the one-on-one marking defensively. He hasn't quite figured that out yet.
Yeah, for sure. It comes down to his size, his actual frame.
Yeah, bang on. And once he can do that, they were earmarking him for games because they like his disposal out of defence. But yeah, they don't think his defensive one-on-one is quite there yet. So look, I can see Hasty in another year or so easily slotting into the side and keeping out.
Even Burns, I prefer him over Burns.
Yeah, I mean,
Burns he's just the fringe, isn't he? He's just not quite best 22, 23.
Burns he's that type of player that you'd love to have as a backup player, because
for sure he gives it his all.
For a flag, perfect. You get somebody to go down injured. Burns is somebody that can, stick in for a low-level player. Like he won't do too much bad. But yeah, you probably don't want to be relying on him to get 20 out of defence to kind of have, maybe only 4 or so get turned over. He's not the worst disposal, but he also doesn't do threatening kicks. Like he's going to look for the switch. He's going to try and lose 10, 15 metres to retain the ball. So I don't mind him, but he's not a threatening player. And really, we need to get more. But even tonight, it wasn't great in some regards of actually converting our opportunities. So yeah, it's one of those ones where could be good, but need to see more. Need to see a lot more. That being said, mate, we've managed to get through 50 odd minutes here. We've I've probably got about 10 minutes left. I don't think anybody's. I'll chuck the thing in case somebody else wants to come say hello and they haven't seen the link. But I'll get pretty much your final thoughts here and probably look at wrapping it up.
Yeah, for
Mate,
sure.
did you? I'm guessing you actually got to see the game. It wasn't just you saw for sure.
I caught snippets of it.
Okay. Well, I would suggest going back and watching it. It was a great match. But in terms of best thing, because obviously we've got a lot to work on. Life ain't great at the Saints. We ain't near the top 8. But best part about this match, what was your favourite thing out of everything, right?
As in performance, like individual performance?
Individual, team-wise, structure, whatever it might be.
I'm liking the Caminiti and Viking duo down back.
Yep.
I reckon the fact that we can throw them at both ends, either ends or whatever, is quite handy, quite the weapon to have. And Max Hall, for me, has been probably the best thing about this year.
You and Jake are very similar in that regard. Jake loves Max Hall, and it's probably taken me until the last month to really figure out why that is. But yeah,
how many score involvements did he have? I swear he had like 10 plus score involvements.
11
20 possessions or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
wow.
He did amazingly. I'm just going to pull up the spoils as well. Between Toru and Anthony Caminiti, there was 22 spoils.
That's exciting.
I dare say that's almost the whole amount from the other team. It'd be pretty dang close. So,
is it time to move Dougal on? Yeah. He can't stay on the track.
100%.
What is he, 30?
20. Yeah, he's about to be 30. He's about to be 30. Yeah, no. As much as I love Dougs, and he's done some great things for the club. We're at that stage where we need to be developing. And I agree. I think Caminiti's shown a lot this year. And I'll be honest with you, I had absolutely zero belief that he would do well as a defender. I just didn't see it.
I think I was in the same boat.
Yeah.
When he was playing forward, I just didn't see anything. He just frustrated me, but he's proved me wrong.
Same. I completely agree. He's one of those lob types where you watch him as a forward and you're like, I can't see why he's a footballer. Like he does an occasional good moment, but I can't see it. But as a defender, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I get what he does.
He gives it his all. Every time he gets beaten, you see it. He's dropping F-bombs or whatever. He's pissed off at himself. He cares. That's what we need.
And he did really well tonight. Toru turned it over defensively. Probably one of the turnovers that lost us the match, to be honest. But that was one of the moments where Kama ran up to Toru, gave him a pat on the back, and said, "Mate, you've done everything else right tonight. Just
keep your head up."
It happens, yeah. So definitely like them as a duo. I think we've really found something there. The more we can get Wilkie free to just do what Wilkie wants to do, the better.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm very happy with what they've shown so far. 2 matches in, and I could see this working out for another 100 games. So it's looking all right. Yeah, honestly, mate, loved a lot of this match, but so many moments that frustrated me. So if you are going to watch it back, it looks like you might have already shaved your head anyway, so it's you're not going to be pulling out your hair. So that's
not quite.
Oh, okay, no, it's just dark. All right, so be careful, man. No, just be careful because I'm telling you that there's moments where I'm lucky to have what I have. But no, it was some good parts as well. But look, mate, unless you've got any sort of parting words, I'm going to start wrapping things up.
Yeah, no worries. Just I've got one more thing for you.
Of course.
Moosey, is he going to get a game, or are we just going to delist him?
Oh, I hate to say
because he's playing pretty good football. Like, surely we just give him a crack.
I agree. I fully agree. As much as I agree, I think we're going to delist him.
It's looking that way, isn't it? What's he been on the list for? 4 years, 5 years, or something?
This was the week that made me convinced, because we could have potentially have brought in Moose if we wanted to do a dual ruck. But not only did we not name Moose as the selection, we brought Boyd back in as the emergency. So
Yeah.
I don't
He's out
think
of favour,
Greg's
isn't he?
saying at the end of the year makes me
Yeah.
think that he's probably not saying either.
No, I feel for him.
Same. I think he's shown enough to at least get given a shot. And who knows? I said this with Keeler as well. Like early days, people were like, "Oh, Keeler's probably not lasting the end of the year." And I was like, "Oh, I'd see him do some good things. I'd like to see him get a crack because who knows what happens when they get a crack." And yeah, Moose is one of those ones for me. I'd love to see him get a crack.
Yeah.
Starting to get towards the end of the year, and it's starting to look like it might not happen, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, mate. Look, thank you very much for rocking up. I'll be back again this time next week. So Brett, if you want to come say hello again, do some more chats, feel free.
I'm sure I will after a victory over Hawks.
Mate, I'm praying. I'm praying.
We got to get one eventually, don't we?
My hope is that they got lured into not playing amazing football because North was just shocking. And then they come out the next week and they're like, "Oh God, we actually have to play football. What's going on?" So that's kind of my hope next week. But we'll see. But mate, come back. Hopefully we do get the win and we can be a lot more happy. But if not, we can always commiserate, have a couple of drinks, whatever it might be.
That's all right. Thanks for having me, man. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Great. Cheers, you too. All right, boys. So let's get this. I'm going to delist not delist. I'm going to remove. I'm talking too much footy and bring it back to here. Do the final sort of thoughts. Look, it's been good. I think we've got a lot of positives to like about this match. I think there's a lot of things to improve upon still. Oh, Nick, good question. I got this from Homie, HOMIE. They're a youth assistance company. They essentially sell clothes like this to give homeless youth assistance. They partnered with the AFL for knits of every team. There will be other releases with Homie as well. Low key on the hush, they've got European soccer jerseys coming out, which will be quite cool. So keep an eye out for that later in the year if you're interested. But yeah, I less said about that, the better. I don't think I meant to say anything about that. I don't think I'm even meant to know about that. So don't go tell people. But yeah, basically, they're great. Go check out Homie. I think they've just run out of this, but they're doing new stocks like every couple of months. So go check them out. Quickly touching on the things we haven't touched on. Jack Steele had 24 pressure acts, defensive half pressure acts. We got annihilated by Jordan Clark. And if I'm going to touch on what I'll be discussing, I'm definitely going to look into Jordan Clark's efforts. And I'm also going to look into some of our midfield structures because I think we did a lot of things really well tonight, and I'd like to see what we did differently because there was moments there where, I mean, the clearances were just astoundingly in our favour. I can seldom remember a time where we got 46 hit-outs in a match and put 15 extra on our opponent. So yeah, that's one of the sort of two things I'll be couple of things I'll be discussing for Tuesday's match. I think Jake would have his match review out by now. If not, it should be coming out very soon. So if you want to head over to SaintsTV, get his thoughts, feel free. That's about it for me. I'll be back. Well, maybe not this time next week, but I'll be back next week to do similar stuff. Chat about the Saints game. If you want to come in, say hello, feel free. We'll be dropping a link. I'll hopefully remember to actually do the whole putting it up online earlier. I've always got things to go during the week, and then it's like Saturday, and I'm like, oh no, I still haven't done it. But that's about it. Thank you very much for popping your head in to everybody that came past, everybody that said hello. Yeah, it's been a good chat, good match, all things considered. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all next week. Cheers.